was watching some other games over the weekend as well because we obviously did our game week review and we watch all the highlights of all the other games, don't we? And you watch some of those other teams. If they get a chance, they shoot.
Oh yeah, 100%.
There's no doubt. It's like because and we've said this so many times. You could hit the post, you could hit the bar. Goalkeeper could make a mistake. You could get a deflection. Could get a handball. You could cause a foul or a free kick. And that's what happens when you take shots. Yeah, it could go into row Z, but so what? It's going to happen, isn't it?
So welcome back to BCFC Royal Blue. And on Saturday, Birmingham City will want to get back to winning ways as we host Swansea City at St.Andrews at Knightheadpark. Now, on paper, not much separates the two teams. Swansea are in 7th on 8 points and Birmingham are in 11th on 7 points. But Dad, I don't know how you feel. I feel like with the last 3 defeats, this is a good chance for us to sort of start a bit of a fresh again, put those 3 games behind us and get St Andrews rocking again. We all know we have improvements to make, but let's just move on past those 3 games and let's get St Andrews bouncing and rocking and get behind the boys again.
Yeah, it's a pivotal game in as much as it has the ability to get us back positive again, get us back winning. And it also has the possibility of, if we do, not win this game, that sort of run of inconsistency continues, and then obviously all the doubts come in again. So I think it's quite pivotal. But I tell you now, I've done research Swansea, as we do for all clubs that we do on this podcast, and these are a very, very good side. In fact, I don't know if you know this, but since they appointed their manager, Alan Sheehan, who replaced Liam Manning, if you take all the points they've accumulated since he was appointed, they would actually be 3rd in the Championship given the overall games that they've played.
When did he get appointed?
I think it was January. I think maybe Swansea fans, if you are watching this, you can correct that. But I believe it was around about January. Okay. So, but what he's done, he's clearly sorted them out and made them very, very consistent. So this is not going to be an easy game whatsoever. But we are at home, and we've got a good home record. We've got the crowd behind us, and we will expect to win. But I think that these are going to prove to be tough opposition.
From what I've seen, and we'll get into the detail in a moment, they're very good going forward. They've got good speed, they pass it well, they go down the wings, they're quite dynamic. So I think we have a lot to be wary of in terms of, for them, attacking-wise. They're going to pay us no respect, put it that way. But as always, Dad, I like to do my research on the previous weekend. I like to look at the teams, the results, the social media, see what the fans are saying. And of course, Swansea drew 2-2 with Hull at the weekend, and Hull scored in like 90 plus 6 plus 7. It was pretty much the last kick of the game. So I went onto the Swansea post, when they post the full time, and I've just picked 3 of the most popular comments. So the top one was, the ref needs some serious looking into, not excusing conceding in the end, but that was a seriously fishy amount of time added on. Second one was, we can blame the ref all we want, but they fully deserve to equalise in the end. Heartbreaking. And then the last comment was, we're still lacking so much in the final third, which I thought was interesting because from what I've seen from Swansea, I've noticed them as quite a progressive going forward team, but there was definitely some questions around the ref adding that time on in stoppage time. But as fans, when we look back on games, we always make those sorts of calls, don't we? But if more than one says it, the odds are there was some truth behind it. But clearly Swansea fans are quite happy with the direction that they're going. Obviously, they're sitting in 7th at the moment. They're picking up some points, but their big threat for me and their top man, Dad, is Zan Vipotnik.
Yeah, what's his first name? Begins with Z.
Zan.
Let's call him Zan.
Zan Vipotnik. Okay,
but also Ronald as well. He's Brazilian, young Brazilian. He's done well for them as well. He scored a few goals this season. But they've only, you say prolific front, and they obviously create chances. But they've scored 6 goals in their 5 games. We've scored 4, so they've scored 2 more than us. But as you say, they've been narrow victories as well.
Zan, he's got 4 goals in 4 games.
Oh, that's in all competitions.
So he's scoring regularly.
Yeah, so that's in all competitions, isn't it? Yeah, because I've got league goals there, so my stats say 3, and Ronald has got 3, and then. So mine must be just looking at the league, 3 goals.
Regardless of context, that 4 and 4 is still good going.
No, I think they're quite potent up front, aren't they? And I think he'll have them well organised. They do play a similar system to us, like a lot of teams actually. It's 4-2-3-1. So we saw that, didn't we, last week against Stoke? We saw that against Leicester as well. I think that's the favoured formation in this division, isn't it? That Alan Sheehan's played that every game so far this season in the league. And they come into the game like you say, 7th place, so they're only 1 point above us, but they're in 7th, and this is the early stage of the season where a few points moves you quite a lot of positions.
It's early days.
It is, yeah, but their defence is good as well. They've only conceded 4. They've got the second best defence. Well, the 3 teams have conceded 3 goals: Stoke, Portsmouth, and Middlesbrough, and then West Brom, Swansea, and Bristol City have conceded 4. So they're clearly tight at the back as well. So it could be one of those games where, obviously we know, Blues fans, don't we, that we've said we've got to be more of a goal threat. We've got to start taking shots. We've got to start creating more chances because, this Swansea are the type of team that if they score first, they could shut the game down, and that would again make it much more of a difficult task for us. So I think we need to sort of get on the front foot in this game.
That's kind of what happened against Hull. They went 2-1 up, and then they kind of, I wouldn't say they parked the bus, but they definitely went deeper into their own half, and they kind of allowed a little bit more pressure on from Hull. Hull were getting balls into the box. They were definitely knocking the door, but that was because there was a strategy to kind of sit a little bit deeper. And I think, again, a theme I've picked up on from a couple of Swansea fans is why, when we take the lead, do we sit back a little bit more? So I think it's a managerial decision, a bit like Southgate for England. When they go in front, they kind of just naturally go a little bit more defensively. That's a double-edged sword for me. Those teams can be very dangerous because if they're good on the day at shutting up shop, they're going to be really hard to break down. But it does open chances for mistakes and pressure and unforced errors and things like that. So it depends on how you swing that one as a positive or a negative. From League One, I'm kind of scarred. I don't like teams that sit deep or park the bus because we've shown all season long last season we just have to grind them down, don't you? It's really tough. So I think you're right, Dad. That could be one of the keys, is not allowing them to kind of get an early goal or get a foothold in the game. We don't tend to let that happen at home. We are strong at home, aren't we? We know St.Andrews is a fortress.
And I think the last 2 games that we have played, they're tough places to go for any team in the Championship. We've lost at Leicester and we lost at Stoke, and I think that's going to be a case for a lot of teams. So, but it is good to be back at St Andrews. It's sold out again, and it's going to be hopefully the fortress that we've kept because we've got a good home record. But we know that the quality of teams in the Championship is a lot higher than it was in League One. They'll pay us no respect, and it's going to be a tough one. One player to look out for is their left back, Josh Tymon. Last season, listen to this, he was a standout performer, created 81 chances from left back.
Wow.
Over the season.
Kind of reminds me of Leif Davis.
And that's what comes to mind. I mean, that's the most of any defender in the Championship.
Yeah, it's a good start.
So he'll be one to watch, and and their goalkeeper as well, Figueroa. They got some great names in their team, haven't they? Yeah,
good luck to the commentator down the Blues.
He played every game last season, so he didn't miss any. So he's very consistent. Kept 14 clean sheets. So basically, they've got players in there that know the Championship. And I thought that as soon as I saw the stats for Josh Tymon, I thought Leif Davis. So we've got to be. He's going to be a threat down their left-hand side, providing chances for them.
I mean, we'll come on to the Blues in a minute and we'll finish off on Swansea in a minute. But I think that's where we're definitely missing a trick down the Blues. Full-back contribution. Cochrane gets a fair amount of balls into the box. Laird can occasionally get balls to the box, but we're missing like a Leif Davis, the guy you just mentioned, that really prolific contribution from fullback, because it's integral. How many goals can you get from your fullbacks getting high up at the pitch? Getting balls into the box, But a lot of your research is similar to mine, Dad. Another good player they've got is Malik Yaloul. I think, again, if I'm pronouncing that right, as you say, they've got some funky names, but
he's their number 10.
He's really good.
Very
good going forward. Very
Yao Kui, I think it is.
Yao Kui, there you go. I'll tell you what a nightmare for pronunciation on this one.
I wouldn't like to be a commentator on that. Although I noticed they've also got Ethan Galbraith as well, who we saw last season at Leyton Orient. And Cameron Burgess as well. He was in League One. Wasn't he on loan at... No, he was at Ipswich, wasn't he, last season? But he was on loan at... he was on loan last season somewhere, Cameron Burgess. Anyway, they bought him, picked him up. So obviously a good team, good consistent team, well organised, good manager, and I'm sure they'll be hard to break down.
I think there's a few things I really admire from the Swansea game, which again, I look at teams and I kind of think about, one, how can we beat them? What's their strengths? But then also how could Blues sort of adapt or take note or influence? And when I watch Swansea, Dad, they do a lot of things I want Blues to do. They pass it quickly. They really go at you. They go wide. They cut in. They're quite unpredictable. Sometimes they go through the middle. Sometimes they go down the flanks. But what I've noticed is when they go at you, it's fast. One touch football, movement, one touch. Here we go, 1-2.
That's probably we got caught out against Stoke. Didn't we like that?
If you watch a lot of their highlights, they are very good going forward, and that quick passing creates all sorts of problems for defences. But as I said, the one thing I've got, which is a bit of a double-edged sword, is they do sometimes sit back if they go in the lead, or late on in games as well, which does allow balls into the box. It allows unforced errors, and that could be something that we pick up on later on in the game. Not if we're behind, just later on in the game, maybe if they go a little bit deeper, protecting maybe a draw, or depending on where the game is, we could really capitalise that in the later stages of the game. And Blues last season, Dad, we did win a lot of our games in the second half. because we were grinding teams down. And again, the grinding teams down isn't really working as well this season as it did last. But I still think our fitness levels and the way we press and our energy and our tenacity at times could cause them problems. I just want to see that come back because I think that was missing against Stoke.
I think the difference this season, though, is that the teams that we're playing also have that energy and that press.
100%.
So they match us, which we didn't see that all the time against with the opposition last season.
Because we noticed teams in League One, Dad, they really started getting tired around the 70, 75 minute mark, 80-minute mark. So that last 10 or 15 minutes, we really dominated because our energy levels were off the rails. Whereas I haven't seen a single team this season flag.
No.
Every single team has kept up to our fitness levels, but to a higher level.
With respect to League One, they're better quality players, aren't they? And they're more technically better, and they're coached differently as well. I would say as well that again, going back to a point we made against Stoke, this Ronald is their right winger, and he's really pacey. And we saw that Miljan Manhoff, was really strong against Alex Cochrane down our left side, there right. That's something we'll have to watch because we can't allow players to drift past our defenders that easily. So maybe Chris Davis might try and tweak something in there to try and mitigate against that. I mean, they've done pretty well. As you mentioned, they're in seventh. So they lost their first game against Middlesbrough, which is no disgrace whatsoever.
1-0 was it?
Yeah, it was only 1-0 at Middlesbrough. Then they beat Sheffield United 1-0. Drew 1-1 at home to Watford, and then they beat Sheffield Wednesday 2-0 away. And as you mentioned, their last game they drew 2-2 with Hull. That's a good, solid, consistent start. They've got one more point than us, so they got 8 and we've got 7, as we mentioned. So we're pretty close in terms of their style of play. They do like counter attacks, as you mentioned. I think a lot of teams do that because now the tendency for Championship teams is to press high. That allows them to get the ball, but also if we press high, they can counter attack quickly and vice versa. That is something to watch as well. They're good at defending set pieces as well. So the way we are at the moment, they'll have no problem at the moment with our set piece at the moment, unless Chris Davis has worked his magic over the course of the week on the training ground. We do and have identified set pieces as a particular weak point that we have at the moment. That needs to be addressed as well. And they like stealing the ball from the opposition, so we know they're going to press. But also as well, what I've seen, I think they've got the highest possession stats in the Championship.
Especially at home.
Yes.
They do really try to control the game.
Yeah, but we're at home, so...
no, but their stats for possession at home are really good. Yeah. But obviously, naturally, teams lose that a bit away, don't they? Because they're a little bit more cautious. Just naturally speaking here.
Yeah, but I think we have to get used to, in this division, having slightly less of the ball because we dominated possession. I think we have an overall stat of nearly 70% in League One, didn't we? We're not going to get that level in
It seems like we're sort of doing mid to late 50s this season.
Yeah.
So we're nowhere near dominating the ball as much as we were.
Yeah. Exactly, and that's something I think we need to adapt our game to accommodate that, don't we? And as I mentioned, they're very strong down the right, and that's where we need to be careful because I say that would be an area that we've got to focus on. And generally, just a good team, And I at home, you'd like to think as a home team that we'll be more on the front foot. I felt we've been a little bit passive in our last few games, which has been the problem, hasn't it? We just allowed the other teams to dominate us at occasions, and we can't do that at home.
It's not just that, Dad. It's almost like, I think against Stoke especially and Leicester, there was almost like a bit of lack of fight, like a bit of tiredness, a bit of like lethargicness throughout the team and squad. I want to see them fired up, and I think the crowd will do that. I think when you come out of St.Andrews and a Salah and you hear that keep right on just before the whistle goes, it is an adrenaline pumping, hairs on the back of your neck kind of experience, isn't it? And there's no way you can't not hear that and not be fired up. That does make a massive difference.
Yeah, we can literally be the elusive 12th man here, and actually 100%. Get right behind the boys. But they have spent some money in the summer as well, they brought in a few players for a bit of money. Adam Ider they bought from Celtic for 6.9 million.
Wow.
He's a centre forward, and Zedin Anusa, a left winger from Hacken, which is a Swedish team, 6 million. Ethan Galbraith, according to my stats from Leighton Orient, cost 1.5. Bobby Wales, centre forward from Kilmarnock, 300k. So they have spent the best part of 10 million.
Wow.
No, 14 million. So we got 2 60s and then 14.7 million they've spent, which is actually more than us.
Buying the league, disgusting.
Net value is more than
I'm joking.
I know. The one player they have let go, well, I think his contract came to an end with Harry Darling, and he was linked with us.
It's Norwich.
Yeah, he's to Norwich. Yeah, it's good player, but they.
I like Harry Darling.
Yeah, so done well. So, should we go into the Blues then, unless you got anything to say about Swansea? Anything else?
No, just I think this game is a bit of a cautionary tale. I think we need to be wary. Yeah. I think we want to see a bounce back as Blues fans from the last 3 games, especially the Stoke game for me. There's just something missing there. As I said, we need to take shots on goal. We need to start passing the ball quicker in the final third. But no, good team, Dad, that are coming to St Andrews this weekend. And I just want the boys to be really fired up for it. But that segues us nicely into our sort of predicted starting 11, really. So it's been a while since I went first. So shall I do defence, Dad, and then you can do midfield?
Yeah.
So there's two angles here. I'm going to give you what I think Chris Davies is going to start with, and I'm also going to give you what I want to see. Okay. So the team I think Davies is going to go for is Allsop in goal. I think Asoy Samuel's going to go back at right back.
Yeah.
I think he's going to stick with Neumann and Clara.
Yeah.
And he's going to play Laird at left back.
Yeah.
I think Cochrane will sit this one out on the bench.
Yeah.
However, what I want to see is Asoy Samuel right back, Clara at right side of centre back, Robinson left side of centre back, preferably Robinson for me with that level of experience, and then Laird left back as well. So for me, I'm putting a left footer back in the centre half position.
That's exactly my back four. I've gone for exactly the same. Allsop in goal, Asoy Samuel back on the right to put Laird on the left, because Laird has got more pace. I think although he had pace against Leicester, Fatawu, who's their right winger, and I think that he, we have to be mindful when we go forward, and I think that's where Ethan does go forward a lot, and we do need that, but we've got to be mindful as well.
I think we're proving this season, Dad, we are a bit vulnerable to pacey wingers, aren't we?
Yeah.
So if we've referenced Ronald, we've referenced
Manhuff.
From Stoke,
Fatawu.
Yeah. So we need to be careful of not getting caught out too far. But I think that in the Leicester game, because Fatawu scored after early in the game, that kind of put a psychological thing on Laird to get tighter to him and get closer to him. Whereas me personally, I'm willing for Laird to get a little bit higher up the pitch if it means sacrificing a little bit of fragility at the back. I wouldn't mind. I'm not saying I want to get caught out. I'm not saying that we allow Swansea to suddenly break and counter. But if it means getting a few more bodies up the pitch, I don't mind Laird going a little bit higher up.
This is where I think it could be more balanced, because if we have Asoy Samuel back on the right and we put Laird on the left, now we know Laird has got pace, but with my starting lineup and your suggestions, I've gone for Robinson alongside Clara. So Robinson, but what'll happen is when Laird goes up, Robinson tucks in as a left footer.
With a left foot, yeah, exactly.
So it works much more of a balanced back line. So just to confirm my back line, I've gone for Allsop in goal, Asoy Samuel on the right, Clara as centre half, with Robinson also centre half, but Robinson as the left side centre half, and Ethan Laird on the left.
So that's what I want to see.
But that's what I've gone for.
But I still think, I've just got a feeling Chris Davies is going to plump for Neumann. But anyway, let's see what we land when we arrive on Saturday.
We'll see what Blues fans think about that. Add a comment below, see what you think about the back line. But that's what me and Matt have plumped for. So should I go for the...
Also, just to back that up a little bit more, Dad, I think, you're right. The left foot of the left side centre back gives us so much more balance. But I think Clara looks a little bit uncomfortable at the right side of centre back as well. Playing the left side of centre back as well. So it's not just the left foot giving us balance. It's Clara looks more settled on the right as well.
We looked a lot better team last season with Ben Davies in the side when he was there as a left-sided centre half, and I think that will happen again if we can change that. Again, Neumann, I just think Neumann needs a little bit more time to adapt. Agreed. And getting in games where he can, just to get him up to speed, because I really honestly think from what I saw of him when he was signing and I look at all of his previous games, he looks like a real quality player. He just needs to get used to the system and the style and different nature of the English football.
One thing you can't deny that Neumann gives us is pace. He's really fast. So I think we might see Neumann playing, when you have an absolute striker who's just electric. Yeah. Because he'll balance that out, won't he? So who knows what we do moving forward. But I really think we need a left footer in there, personally. I mean, me and you could be on our own on this one. I'd love to hear from the Blues fans.
I don't think we will be, Matt. I think a lot of people will suggest left footer as well. But we'll get their comments below.
Midfield then, Dad?
Right, now I've shaken things up a little bit here, because I think we need to be more creative in midfield. Now, in my opinion, I don't think Tommy Doyle is a number 10. I know we can play there. I know we've played him there, but he don't work for me personally. I'm just being honest that I don't think he works at number 10. But he's a creative midfielder, so I've put him in place of Paik. Mm-hmm. I'm breaking up the actual Paik duo. I think we need a watcher in there.
Are you breaking up the band?
It's all going sideways.
The two-man band.
But a Water, I think we need in there for his tenacity. But as a creative midfielder, I'd like to see Tommy Doyle deeper in midfield than number 10, and the person that has to be sacrificed for me is Paik. Now, again, not saying Paik's a bad player, but we have to look at different options. If things ain't working, we've got to try something different. I personally think Doyle is completely underutilised at the moment in where we've played him. We haven't given the opportunity to play in that deeper position. I put him there. So I've gone for Doyle and Iwata in the sixes. I've gone for Damari Gray on the left and Patrick Roberts on the right. And I've still gone for Stansfield in the 10 with Kyogo as a number 9.
Okay, interesting. So,
but I was wondering whether or not to replace Furuhashi with Dutch.
Right.
To see, give him a game in the start. But I've still gone for Kyogo. So I've gone for Stansfield in the 10 and Kyogo in the 9.
I've still gone for Paik and Iwata. But I wouldn't be upset to see Tommy Doyle start that because I agree. And we plumped for him to start in the 10 on previous podcasts. Yeah. But clearly he's tried it 2 or 3 times now. And he has nice little touches and flicks, but it's not working as a position.
He comes deep anyway.
He is a deeper midfielder.
But I think that's why he doesn't work in the 10 because his tendency is to come slightly deeper to get the ball.
Yeah.
But
he's either a 6 or an 8, but he's not a 10. Yeah, I agree. So... And I love Tommy Doyle. I think he's progressive. I think he plays the ball very well. He wants to go forward. And I wouldn't be upset to see Tommy Doyle playing in that alongside Iwata. I've just got a feeling Paik will be in there.
I don't know. Here's a question for you. And a few people have made this comment in the post Stoke. I think Donna was one of them, one of our regular contributors. She said that she feels that the players are overcoached. So what do you think about that? Because I thought that was quite interesting to be overcoached. And I think what she was saying, it stifles their ability to be impulsive at times.
It's an interesting point, and overcoached could arguably lead to overplaying it, couldn't you? Because you're overthinking it, and I think sometimes that you can see that in the players. Like if you look at Dimmy as an example, Patrick Roberts as an example, even Stano, they're explosive kind of players. They get the ball, they take their man on. Well, let's just use Dimmy and Patrick Roberts here as wingers as a prime example. As a winger, you take your man on, you get the ball in the box. Whereas I feel like they look a bit confused. They look like they don't know what the instruction is. Are they bolting past their player? Are they passing backwards? Are they keeping the ball for the team? So, again, I guess that would play into that area of possibly being a bit overcoached.
Yeah, but if their coaching is like, we keep the ball
at all costs.
At all costs. Then when you get into that attacking position, your instinct is going to be to keep the ball. So, okay, who's around me that can take it off me? It's not going to be, let's go forward and have a.
Exactly.
I was watching some other games over the weekend as well because we obviously did our game week review and we watch all the highlights of all the other games, don't we? And you watch some of those other teams. If they get a chance, they shoot.
Oh yeah, 100%.
There's no doubt. It's like because we've said this so many times. You could hit the post, you could hit the bar. Goalkeeper can make a mistake. You could get a deflection. You could get a handball. You could cause a foul or a free kick. And that's what happens when you take shots. Yeah, it could go into row Z, but so what? It's going to happen, isn't it?
And also, Dad, look how much Manhoof and Sorba Thomas carried the ball. They were constantly going at the fullbacks and getting past them and being successful. That's what a bit of courage, a bit of bravery, a bit of tenacity. And I think sometimes when you look at our wingers and you look at our creative players, they're almost like in the back of their mind or in the voice in the back of their head is go backwards, keep the ball, keep the ball. And that is hindering their ability to take their man on and be creative and actually, pick a pass out. Because if you look at Kyogo and you look at Stano, they're constantly running that line. And we don't really have the bravery to pick them out a lot of the time. Whereas
they get criticised.
Is that instructive?
Well, the thing is, Matt, you mentioned Kyogo and you mentioned Stansfield, and they will always get judged on goals, always, because they're strikers, right? That's their job. But when you watch them, they make so many so much good movement and so many good runs, like you've already mentioned, that nobody, picks them out. And actually, they're not scoring goals because they're not getting the right level of ball. So if we can get that right and actually sort of be much more take more of a risk on occasions and and take them through, I think we're going to be absolutely fine. It's just that it's almost like a psychological thing in the players. I've got to keep the ball, and that's maybe where we're lacking in shots. I looked at a table. We're actually 24th in the Championship. You got teams above us like Sheffield Wednesday with 2.1 or something like that. But out of 24 teams, we are rock bottom of shots on target on average per game, and that's no surprise to me whatsoever. So that everybody knows that is what we have to change. Yeah, we might not score every time, but you've got to take more shots.
Yeah, but for a team in 11th, you're competing with teams in the relegation zone. So we're 11th. So we're doing well. We have points. We're winning games. But our shots on target are relative to teams in the relegation battle.
And if it keeps at that level, we're going to be in the relegation zone.
Yeah.
That's the reality.
But that's the point.
Don't lie.
No, exactly. But that's the point. Is we're surrounded by teams in the bottom 3 for shots on target.
Yes.
You can't stick around that statistic and expect a good season.
No.
So just to finish my team then, Dad. So we went off on a bit of a tangent there. So Paik and Iwata in the midfield. Gone for Dimmy on the left, Roberts on the right, Dukes in the 10, and Stanfield in the 9. Because I think one thing we're missing up front in the attacking part of the field is physicality.
Yeah.
We have no height, no power, and I think Dukes in the 10. And fair enough, by the way, I know possibly hypocrite warning, round pegs in square holes. Dukes is traditionally a number 9. Dukes, I totally get that. But if it's a compromise on physicality and a presence and someone who's going to dominate aerially and throw themselves about, I'd be willing to put him in the 10 to give him a chance.
I think that's a good balance. I think Dukes in the 10, because when we bought him, we looked at his stats. We looked at his stats, and he has got a lot of assists, Dux. So he could easily play number 10. But like you said, he does give us that height, and that 100%. Would mean Stano would be better in the 9. But I know I put him in the 10 to accommodate Kyogo. But I prefer Stano in the 9, if I'm really honest.
Same.
But if you play Stano in the 9, I think Dux would be a productive number 10 than probably Furuhashi. And obviously, you get that height and physicality as well.
I just think we need something more physical in the upper side of the pitch. Because if you look at your selection, Dad, I mean, it's only one swap. It's Dukes for Kyogo, but then Stano's in your 10 and Kyogo's in your 9. But look at the difference that makes for the height immediately.
Yeah.
Physicality, some presence up there.
Yeah.
And it might not work, I don't know. I'm just trying to balance out things a little bit differently, where I'm trying to correct in my mind the things that went a little bit wrong at Stoke. And I think when you look at the way we went forward, our attacking side of the pitch, we were so small.
Yeah.
I mean, there's not a lot you can do about height. You're either tall or you're not.
Well, no, you can. You can do something about height. You can buy players that are tall.
Yeah, of course. But we're talking about the transfer market's closed now. We're talking about Blues now going forward. And maybe you've just highlighted a flaw in the recruitment.
Yeah.
Maybe we do need a bit more height and physicality. In fact, I know we need more height and physicality.
Well, we've got Williamson, who's quite tall, but he's injured. He's took a knock. He could play in the number 10. Never play Williamson on the right, ever. Please don't play because but in the number 10. That is his position.
Yeah, he's not bad. He's not a bad number 10.
But he's injured anyway, so he's not an option. And
also,
I think Keshi's also got a knock from what I read.
For his height, though, Williamson also misses 9 out of 10 headers.
Yeah, but somebody pointed out that there's Messi a number 10, and he doesn't score many headers. So
good point.
If you've got the skill and you can put players in and score goals, then you don't need to head of the wall.
Messi, Williamson, I know
what a comparison.
Williamson.
Maybe that's a podcast in itself.
Okay, go on then, Dad. So I'm wary of time. I'm going to pressure you. You can go first on this one. So score prediction. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm going to get shut down for this. I've gone for a 1-1 draw.
Okay.
I just think the way we are at the moment and the quality of the opposition in the Championship, I think we're still going to take a little bit more time to adjust and get things quite right. And I think, again, as always, of course, I think we are capable of winning this game. We are capable of winning the game. But I've just got a feeling that these are going to be extra tough opposition. They're very, very consistent under their manager. And I think they'll be tough to break down. So I've gone for a 1-1.
Yeah, I think we're going to see a light bulb moment this weekend. Last season when the defence sorted itself out when Davies made that change. I think we're going to see a little bit of a defensive consolidation this week. I don't know, got a feeling, call it a gut feeling, I don't know. And I think we're going to keep a clean sheet, and I think we're going to nick it. Very, very tight game, not many goals. I've gone for Birmingham City 1, Swansea City 0. So a 1-0 win, so it's going to be narrow. And there's something about St.Andrews that fills me with confidence. And fair enough, I know last time we were there it was the Port Vale game. I totally get that. But this is the league game. It's a sellout. The atmosphere will be bouncing in there. I really want us to get behind the boys and show us our support. And I've just got a feeling we're going to bounce back on this one with a 1-0 win.
Yep. Okay.
But Dad, by the way, I don't think you'll get shut down. I think a lot of Blues fans are realistic.
I'm trying to be honest and realistic, and of course, I would love us to get the 3 points, but in my mind, I've just got a feeling the way we are at the moment, we just need a little bit more time to adjust, and I've just got a little bit cautious at the moment, so I'm going 1-1.
But here's the pattern, Dad. Last week, I said we'd draw at Stoke, and you said we'd win, and we lost. This week, you've gone for a draw, I've gone for a win. We're probably going to lose.
Don't say that.
I jest, but I think we're going to be back this weekend, but it's not going to be goals galore. We're not that kind of team. So I think it's going to be narrow, 1-0 win Blues.
Yeah,
Any final thoughts before we close the video out?
No, I think that this has become a very important game for us. I think it's because of what's the results in the last couple of games. We do need to get that momentum started again, don't we? Get that feel good factor back, because there's been a lot of doubt, hasn't there, over the last couple of games, and for good reasons. We've all seen the performances, but for me, just a good performance and get some more points on the board, and that'll do me this weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. But as always, Birmingham City supporters, we would love to hear from you. Maybe you're a Swansea City supporter and you've subscribed to the channel previously, or you've just stumbled across our thumbnail, you've seen your team pop up. Please let us know your thoughts in the comment section below as well. And if you like this video specifically, please don't forget to give us a thumbs up and check us out on our social media channels. We have an X page, we have an Instagram page, and we're also over on Spotify, so you can listen and watch us over there. And if you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel and press that bell icon so you get notified every time we post. And myself and Dad will see you on the next one, all about Birmingham City.